Okay, what's up? Good morning, peeps. Welcome in, Morning Scone. Glad to have you here for another edition. A lot we'll get to today. LSU has added yet another cornerback commit, flipping a kid from Auburn. Got an update on Brice Turang, who was that infielder from California, LSU signee, who was first round pick of the Brewers, and then got the CWS Finals Game 1 tonight. So we'll talk about all that coming up here on the show. Glad you're with us. If you have not done so, hit the like or share button. Share especially. Share helps us so much. And I don't mind. That's S-H-A-R-E, not C-H-A-R. Sorry, that was dumb. But so it helps so much because the whole thing with Facebook is they changed their algorithm, and so it's really hard for things to get seen unless if people hit the share button. So quite honestly, that's why I ask that you hit the share button. So thanks very much for being here. As always, Stephen Miller, Trampus Butler, Lori Lockhart, good morning. Appreciate y'all for Val Browning, good morning. Tim Davis, good morning. Y'all can tell I've been up probably about half an hour already and already got my cup of coffee. A little different from yesterday, where, I was struggling yesterday. Had a long day out in the sun on Saturday. Drew got us up early, had no coffee. I was struggling through Morning Scone yesterday. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. We'll start with this one. It surprised me a little when I saw it, but again, it's another indicator of what Ed Orgeron is trying to do as he's building up the roster for 19 and beyond, and to a degree also speaks to the uncertainty of what's on the roster right now. So yesterday, we talked about LSU getting a commit from a JUCO defensive back. It was Drayshun Miller, JUCO defensive back. I told you yesterday, I really like that addition. It's because of the fact that you're losing Terrence Alexander is a grad transfer. Greedy's probably going pro early. Everybody else on the roster that'll be back for 2019 is a question mark. You're confident about young guys like Kerry Vincent, John Trey Kirkland, trying to maybe make that next step. You've already got 3 yesterday, made 4 and now 5 commits at cornerback for 2019. But again, they'd all be incoming freshmen, and then some of the other guys like if you're talking about signee. Kelvin Joseph, signee from last year's class, safety, who's going to flip and try to play corner. If you want to talk about Manny Netherly as a receiver, you just don't know how that's going to go. You can't be certain how that's going to go. So if you're Ed Orgeron, I get it. Like you go and you get a JUCO player. Yesterday we talked about Drayshun Miller, a little bit more veteran guy that you feel might be able to step in and play immediately. So here comes another one though, and it surprised me because all along, kind of the whisper had been that LSU was going to add 4. They were going to add 4 corners in this class. Well, when they got the JUCO, Miller committed, that made 4. And so yesterday, the big news is they flipped an Auburn commit out of Alabama. Kid's name is Cordale Flott. He was at LSU's prospect camp this weekend. He had been committed to Auburn since April. 6'1", 165, which is probably in part the reason why he's a 3-star recruit. But he had more than 20 offers, big-time programs, Alabama. He'd been committed to Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, like a lot of SEC schools had offered. I'm reading this from AL.com from his high school coach that he's 6'1", can run, tremendous length, he's physical. If you look at his tape, he mixes it up. Here comes Drew. Good tacklers. He's all these things that would appear to be really good prospect. And what it shows, though, more specifically, is where the focus is. Hi, baby. Good morning. You want to tell everybody hi? You want to say hi to everybody? You want me to click? No, you're going to go to Abilities tomorrow. Today, Mimi is going to take you to the mall, and you're going to ride the elevator. No, you go to Abilities tomorrow, and you'll see Margaret and Miss Jill. Yep, that's tomorrow. Today, you're going to see Mimi, and she's going to take you to the mall. Well, yes. Papa has a truck. He loves his Papa's truck. Okay, we'll see you later. He gone. Gone. All right. Hey, it's Sharon. Good morning. David Hawes. Good morning. Leroy Blanchard. Craig Schilling. Red shirt. That guy put him in the Moffitt program gain weight. I agree with you. It may happen, but more than anything, oh man, a lot of people jumped on here. Leroy. Good morning. Chuck. Aaron Bertrand. Justin Roel. Good morning. Kenny Bergeron. Good morning. Tim Davis. Good morning. Good to see all y'all. I would say what it shows more than anything, Ogeron is doing at cornerback this year what he did in the class last year on the offensive and defensive lines. He came in, saw or felt that the program was deficient there, and so what did he do? He went into the JUCO ranks. He got Badara Traore, he got Damian Lewis, so he got a couple offensive linemen there. He signed Ed Ingram. He signed Sadiq Charles last year. So he had this influx of young linemen because he needed that. He needed to fortify numbers there, both JUCO and freshmen. And I think he looks at his roster right now and realizes, well, I know. He looks at his roster right now and realizes their biggest deficiencies are at running back and at cornerback. Now, the numbers at running back aren't terrible. Considering you signed 2 this year, you got Brissett and Clyde Edwards-Helaire back and Leonard Fournette. So you got 5 scholarship running backs. But I don't know. Brissett's going to graduate. I don't really know that you're expecting much from Leonard. So really you got 3 and 2 are freshmen, and then you got Clyde. So that's about all you got running back. So I'd be surprised if they didn't try to fortify that even more than they already had. Question from Christian Huffman. You think they're loading up at corner in case some jump ship? No, I think it's how the game's played now. If you're going to play with 5 defensive backs, in many instances you'll have your 2 outside corners, you'll have a nickel corner, and then potentially even dime. That's 4. If somebody either can't cut it or you deal with injuries, you need 5 or 6. If you want 2 deep at every spot, you need 8. And so understand, that's just depth. And what they have going into this season, you got Greedy, you signed Terrence Alexander, you got Kirkland and Vincent. You don't know if you're going to have Fulton eligible. And then you have to move the safety signee, Kelvin Joseph, to corner. You see what I'm saying? So it's we're not even to 2 deep at every spot yet, and you had so much uncertainty. Drew locked himself in the bedroom. Hang on one second. Hang on. I got you, buddy. Hang on. Why did you do that? Don't do that anymore. That's his game. He goes in the bedroom, he closes the door with himself in there, and then he fusses till we come let him out. So he'll probably be back in a second. Okay, so big weekend for LSU. You ended up getting a couple of cornerback commits, and of course big week as well if you go back and you look at getting Stingley as well. Got a couple of cornerback commits this weekend. Obviously, you got your quarterback commit on Friday with Parrish. So, Peter Parrish, man, it's a good. We talked about yesterday. It's a good class shaping up for LSU. Your top 10, you finish with the top guys in Louisiana. You're staring at a top 5 class. Devin Kelly singing a little morning Scone, man, like Spoon, man. I love it. Keep that coming. Meridoc Baraki, good morning. Matt, is LSU going to be able to get a second running back in this recruiting cycle? If they want one, they can find one. I don't think there's any doubt. I think they need to go get one. And in large part, I tell you, man, it depends on if either of the freshmen from this year, Provins or Curry, emerge. And if they do, and then you got Clyde for another year, you're set for 18 and you're probably set for 19 as well. And you can go in next cycle and try to get a top national guy to come in and be like a day one guy like Fournette was. So that's the oddity, man. And I can look at LSU's running backs and specifically go back and look at the transition from Les to Ed. And depending on who you talk to, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people, LSU was really, really confident they were going to get Cam Akers with Les. And he was going to be the next guy after of course, Fournette was leaving, and it was going to be a Geis-Akers 1-2 punch like you had with Fournette and Geis. And then Geis was going to go pro, and then Akers as a sophomore was going to be the dude. This was supposed to be that year. Well, they transitioned from Les to Ed. Akers chose Florida State instead, and LSU got in too late on the kid from Jennings, who's at Clemson now, Travis Etienne, and it was just too late. So you missed entirely. So they're just going to need someone to emerge that they haven't had do it yet. But a really, really good class shaping up for LSU right now. Another note here I'll get some of your questions here in a bit. With the CWS final is tonight. We'll talk about that in a second. But Brice Turang, still unsigned. Now, I want to be very clear. It is Monday the 25th, June 25th. It's been 3 weeks since the draft. Brice Turang, infielder from California, first-round pick of the Brewers, still unsigned. His slot value is about $3 million. He wanted reportedly around $6 million. The Brewers have saved in their first 10 rounds about an extra $600K from signing prospects under slot. That $600K that they could offer Turang, which means they could probably offer him about $3.6 million. That's the max contract that they could offer him at this point. And if he wanted 6, that's just over half his asking price. So not knowing Brice Turang at all, I can't tell you definitively anything. And his family has gone radio silence. So it's an interesting case. It's an interesting story to watch because this is one of those guys that at one point was considered the best high school prospect in the country this year. Kind of had a rough spring and so dropped in the minds of some, and then had the big asking price, so he fell a little further. It's always interesting to see what happens when prospects have a number and get offered below that number to see if they stick to it. Because it's one thing to say, okay, I want $6 million. They say, well, we're not going to give you 6, but we'll give you 3. Can an 18-year-old kid walk away from $3 million on the spot? And I don't know the answer to that. Only because I don't know Brice Turang. Only he can tell you that. Now, I can tell you, a year ago, Blaine Enlow from Santa Ma. When Blaine Enlow was taken with the first pick of day 2 by the Twins, you knew he was gone. They offered him below slot, but when they put a $2 million check on the table, he said, I'm in. Flip side of that is Daniel Cabrera. Cabrera was offered $2.5 million. And he said no. That wasn't his number. He wasn't going to pass on the college experience. He felt he could come to school, get better. 3 years at LSU, playing in front of packed houses and getting better, trying to win a championship, loving LSU, and then go get his money. He bet on himself. Some guys do that. But I feel like we've just seen this so many times in the past, and the more it's prolonged, it tells you what the kid wants to do. And Brice Turang wants to sign, obviously. If he didn't, he would have done around the draft what Zach Watson and Zach Hess and Antoine Duplantis did, and what some of those the pitchers, those kid out of Destrehan, the kid out of Alabama, who had their number, they stuck to their number, teams made an offer, they said no, and so they said, okay, I'll go to school, and it was done. The more it drags out, and I understand the kid's got a lot to lose, the more it drags out, the more confident you should be that he's going to sign. The dangerous part is holding up hope that it may come back. Because we went through this with Gosman. When Gosman got picked, not out of high school, but when Gosman got picked out of LSU, he went down to the wire. Same with Aaron Nola after he got picked. And it was sort of this, they loved LSU. Might they come back? Lang last year. Lang literally went down to the final 10 minutes because the Cubs were lowballing him. The Cubs were lowballing him, and he was pissed about it. And it finally came down to literally the final 10 minutes before the deadline. And they got a deal done. So right now it feels just like posturing. You see this in pro sports sometimes, like with Drew Brees' contract situation. They'll take it right up to an absolute must deadline. It's just a game of chicken. So the more you wait, the more kind of confident you get and hope and feel that maybe, just maybe, the guy may end up on campus. But I'll go ahead and make the prediction that he's not going to end up on campus. If he did, it would just be massive for LSU because you could put Brice Turang on the left side of your infield with Josh Smith. You could kick Hal Hughes over to second or play one of the new guys there. I mean, you get a big bat and a power bat in the middle of your lineup and a left side of the infield guy. I mean, just like, you're instantly, if you're not, you're already a contender next year. But man, you add Turang and it's filthy. So I just don't know that I really believe that's going to happen. Randy Quinn, good morning. Todd Landry, good morning. Aaron Bertrand, good morning. Appreciate y'all for watching as always. A CWS finalist. Let me get some more of your questions here in just a second. Brought to you by Boudreaux's. Boudreaux's Mix, the Bloody Mary Mix, the Margarita Mix. I love supporting local companies. These are great local products found at local stores. Alexander's in Baton Rouge, Calandro's, Calvin's, Mid-City Wine and Craft. You can find it at Canada's down in Houma. By the way, where you at, Rouse's? Come on now. I know you want it. Let's get this deal done. I mean, Rouse's is all over South Louisiana. We need to make this thing happen. So, Mr. Donnie, Rouse, let's get this thing done, man. Let's get Boudreaux's into every Rouse's store like tomorrow. And I'll love to give you shout-outs for doing so here on Morning Scone. But as of now, Calvin's, Calandro's, Alexander's, Mid-City Wine and Craft in Baton Rouge, and then Canada's down in Houma. Support great local companies, y'all. If you're going to be buying your mixers, for your Bloody Marys, for your margaritas, support great local companies. It's a great product as well. A lot of you have told me that you've gone and bought it and you like it. I've told you before, honestly, I don't do Bloody Marys, but some of you told me you've tried it, you loved it. The margarita mix for me is fantastic. So, it's not too tart. Mixes well. I've done it with 1800. I've done it with Cuervo. I've done it with Don Julio, and it's great with all of them. So just a shot of that, 2 shots of tequila, ready over rocks, ready to roll. That's my jam anyway. So find yours, Boudreaux's. Oh, and check out all their social media as well: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Go follow them, comment to them, let them know you appreciate them. Sponsored Morning Scone. Let's see. Chris Randolph, good morning. Devin Young, good morning. Matthew Pittman, good morning. AFR listener from Alabama. How about that, Matthew Pittman? I appreciate it. Spread the good word in enemy territory. Devin, what is Ed going to do if Joe Burrow sucks? Play Miles Brennan. And, I think that's probably how it goes. Wait, let me rephrase that. I think Joe Burrow starts the opener. If Joe struggles, then Brennan goes in. But you didn't bring in Burrow to have him sit. I don't know if y'all can hear Drew's fussing, so he's probably going to come in here in a second. So, I don't think you brought in Joe Burrow to have him sit, and you wouldn't have brought in Burrow if you were confident. Hey! Can I get a towel? Yeah. Sorry. Hang on one second. I'll be right back. Erica's out there swimming laps. She forgot a towel. All right, so, I think Burrow. Bro, awkward silence. Hey, man, it happens, man. Look, this is live, right? And a lot of you ask why I do it. I used to do the show, and I'd record it, upload it to YouTube, and share it on Facebook and stuff. I did it here in large part because I was having such an issue uploading to YouTube. So there was a lot of latency. It was taking forever to do. Sometimes I would record shows and then they wouldn't upload, so I had to redo it. It was just a massive waste of time. So Facebook Live has just made this so much easier, and I love the interaction as well. So anyway, Kenny Bergeron, good morning. Let's see, Devin Kelly. Brennan looks like a Kleenex out there. One of those red teams, 300-pound defensive linemen is going to sneeze on him and blow right through him. don't know, man. The flip side of that is I could look at a guy like Baker Mayfield, who's not 6 foot tall and not 200 pounds. He just won the Heisman Trophy. So I look at Jared Goff, same thing. Was first round pick. So I know you want him bigger, but you can craft an offense to protect a quarterback. I don't worry about that as much. One more. Sam Dixon, we need Kane or Emery. Emery allegedly guarantees LSU isn't willing to make. Once guarantees that. I don't know. I'm talking about running back, so we'll see. One more thing. CWS, game 1 tonight, Arkansas and Oregon State. Luke Heimlich against Blaine Knight. Blaine Knight's undefeated on the season. Although LSU beat Arkansas and the game Knight started, Knight didn't take the loss, though. You got 2 aces. And for Arkansas, their pitching sets up great. I think Arkansas's got better starting pitching depth than Oregon State, but that doesn't matter if your 2 best guys go out there and win for you, which Oregon State may do. And I think Oregon State 1-9 is a better offensive club, as LSU fans saw. They're just an impressive offense, man. They're so good, and I think Oregon State is the better team, staff, bullpen, 1 through 9. But that said, Arkansas is playing great baseball right now. I think this is going to be as fun a CWS final as we've seen, and it's so hard for me to pull for Oregon State, especially with Luke Heimlich, given that story. So I'm not the guy that cheers for the SEC just because, SEC. I think it doesn't. If you're LSU, it does not help having another team in your conference, let alone a team in your division, win a national championship for recruiting and prestige and all that stuff. That said, South Carolina won back-to-back titles in 10 and 11. Certainly elevated that program. They've had a little trouble since Ray Tanner retired. But Dave Van Horn's a great coach. This very well could be Arkansas's crowning moment, their coronation. And they haven't won a major national title. Hey, buddy. Frog. Oh, phone. He likes to hold the phone. They haven't won a national title since Nolan Richardson in basketball back in '94. So maybe this is Arkansas's time, and we'll start to find out tonight. If you made me pick. Like, if I had to go to Las Vegas with all of my money and put it on the counter, I would pick Oregon State just because I think their offense is better. And I think that they can slug their way through these 3 games or 2 games, whatever it would be. But I would not. But I have absolutely, no confidence in that at all to say that I think that that's definitive. Arkansas they've looked awesome in this postseason. They got, I think, 3 legit studs that are going to start with Knight, Murphy, and then Campbell, and they can hit. So see who plays better over the next 3 days and wins a national title. But it's going to be really, really fun to watch. So if you can stomach watching either the team that eliminated LSU or a team in LSU's division winning a national title, but one of them is going to. All right, y'all. Let me wrap this thing up. Appreciate it very much. Boudreaux's, please check them out. If where you shop they don't carry Boudreaux's, demand that they do, and you find them on all their social media. Boudreaux's, Bloody Mary, and Margarita Mix support great local companies. All right, y'all. I'm going to bounce. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow for Morning Scone, and today later on AFR.